When it comes to the 2016 presidential race, Republican candidates are jumping in faster than camp kids at free swim. We're already up to about half a dozen and counting. Can you tell me what these 5 people all have in common?
They're all running for president.
They are all announced.
For the Republicans.
Very good.
I'm trying to think.
One of them's from Florida.
All I know is Democrats.
It's tough because Bush is going to jump in and suck up all the money, even though he's a loser.
I wish Mitt Romney would run.
Mitt Romney, surprisingly, is one of the few that has not. Can you name any?
Rubio.
Very good.
Cruz.
There's a female just entered the race.
Carly Fiorina.
Well, apparently, by accident, Benjamin Carson did it the other day.
Benjamin Carson is
Yeah.
in. Very good. You got the hardest one first.
Heck yeah!
And welcome to the OTR Political Roundtable. And in honor of the Wells Report, let me introduce this morning's analysts who are most likely to produce some political reaction. We have Mary Ann Marsh is with us this morning. And, you know, Patrick Griffin, I don't know if I would say most likely. But thanks for joining us, guys.
First, let's take care of some other business. 3 more Republicans, as you saw from Ted Reinstein's piece, threw their hats into the presidential race this past week. Carly Fiorina, Ben Carson, Mike Huckabee, and then Rick Santorum says that he's going to jump in by the end of this month. Who's got the best chance of lasting past New Hampshire, do you think, Patrick?
I'm not sure any of those 3 do, but I think Mike Huckabee might not even play in New Hampshire. Look, this is going to be a very crowded field. If we wind up with debates, there's not a venue in New Hampshire big enough to get all these folks on one stage. So I think that the key is going to be getting to New Hampshire, which is very different than Iowa with the base. I think this is going to narrow quickly after Iowa. New Hampshire will decide who's real and who goes forward.
Marianne, any of these people going to last past New Hampshire, the Granite State?
The one with the super PAC, which is all of them. I mean, all you need now is one millionaire to fuel you. It's not your poll ratings. It's not whether you win the caucuses anymore. If you've got one millionaire willing to finance you, you can get through this. And that's why with 20-plus candidates, that's bad news for the Republicans and bad news for Jeb Bush.
Unless, of course, you're Hillary Clinton and you have multiple countries and multiple millionaires willing to fund you. I agree.
Let me bring the name Chris Christie into the conversation. He is back in the Granite State this weekend. He apparently will not be indicted, although two of his people have been. Is the Bridgegate scandal behind him?
Not
Marianne?
Indicted yet. I mean, there's a reason Bridget Kelly and Bill Baroni spoke publicly for the first time this week by saying they are going to testify first and foremost. And that was the threat they threw in. And by the way, the damage has been done. Christie is 10th place behind Trump, Fiorina, Carson. I mean, go down the list. So he's not even viable in the one state he has to win.
Not viable, Patrick? What do you think?
I think Marianne's right. I think Chris Christie's sell-by date has gone by, not just about Bridgegate. That's done its damage. I think the bigger problem is the New Jersey narrative. It makes Mike Dukakis' Massachusetts miracle really look like a miracle. New Jersey's in rough shape, and I don't think that transports well as he tries to build a narrative.
Well, that one, Dukakis had a real record of success. I mean, not only does Christie have Bridgegate, he's got a bond rating that's through the cellar. Everybody hates him in New Jersey. He can't even go home again. He's got nothing except to try to give some speeches on the economy that nobody cares about.
Let's turn this spotlight to Beacon Hill. Big coup for Governor Baker. He got the early retirement package, which is really a big key of cutting the budget this year. Now the question is, can he get rid of 5,000 workers without the state services hiccuping? Patrick, you start on that one.
Surprisingly, my position on that is yes, of course he can. The size of state government has grown disproportionately to revenues. We talk about that all the time. Yes, I think Governor Baker has vowed during his campaign and when he became governor to try and make government smarter, to serve people better. That is going to mean being smart about the way we run it. Yes, the answer is unequivocally yes.
Governor Baker points out that when he was part of the Weld and Cellucci administrations and he was a cabinet secretary, they did it twice and it worked out pretty well. Do you think it's going to work out again?
Well, it worked out at that time. What became evident later down the road was there was a lot of shell games played. So I think you want Baker to be successful because you want the state to run well, but with still problems at the health care connector, a lot of people are having problems there, transportation problems, and this. Big challenge.
Let's talk about Jim McGovern this morning. You heard him sitting in this chair, and say what you will, he said he would vote for the referendum, and he's a fan of the Olympics coming to Boston or Massachusetts. Patrick, your read on what the Congressman
based on what I heard the Congressman say this morning, I think he's a fan of the Olympics coming to Massachusetts.
Right.
His district is a little far afield from Boston, so I think what he said was he wants to be a win-win-win-win-win. That's almost as many wins as Mitt Romney's no-no-no-nos.
Right. Yeah, right.
Exactly. So the answer is everybody wants a win-win-win-win. The question is it feasible? Can the games be spread further throughout the Commonwealth, and can there be benefit? I think there's got to be, Ed, because if this is only benefiting Boston, it's going to be a very, very hard sell.
If it stays in 128, he's right, though, right?
Well, of course. I mean, Boston 2024 went to Worcester and didn't offer them one venue. They made their case. They didn't even offer them Lake Quinsigamond.
Second largest city in New England.
Well, not only that, they host the Eastern Sprints. Why isn't rowing there? I'm sorry, volleyball was invented in Holyoke. Basketball was invented in Springfield. Why not? And that's a big mistake, and that shows you the kind of bad management of Boston 2024
Okay, let's turn our attention to this 244 pages. Is that right?
243, yes,
243
exactly
pages.
Can you
but of
read
course,
that? Could you just
now?
read it for the rest of the program?
Stand by.
But this is primarily a political show, and of course I always ask political questions, so let's start there. Those loud whispers of a Tom Brady political career post-football may at first glance seem deflated,
Very good.
After
Excellent.
this past week's news, but is something like this a real political career killer, Marianne?
Put up or shut up. I have the same problem with this report that I have with the Clinton cash book. If you write 243 pages and you can't say the guy absolutely did it or absolutely didn't, go home. So, yeah, this is a problem with law, journalism, and the media, present company accepted right now, where you just throw accusations out there and then damage done. And that is wrong. It's a disservice in politics and in business and in sports.
So you think he has a political career, though?
Look, Hillary Clinton's poll numbers are still as good as they were, better than they were a month ago. He can too.
Patrick?
Tom Brady was at least generally aware of the inappropriate activities. What does that say?
That report is almost 3 times as long as the Ray Rice report.
Oh, yeah.
Probably had knowledge, was generally aware, most likely knew. That is really bad law, and again, it's a special investigation. This is supposed to be a non-reproachable report. The Wells sort of finding all this would be good. The bottom line is, Marian's right, the damage to Tom Brady's career has been done. He's now got to prove himself, as his dad said, innocent, but already been proven guilty.
So a candidate Brady still possible? Is that what everyone's saying here?
Listen, who cares? I care about Tom Brady's candidacy as a quarterback, and I hope he's going to run for that again this year.
If he runs here, of course.
If you want to read the report, by the way, it's on our website, WCVB.com. We'll be right back.